At ease, Agent. Sit down. So, you are one of the candidates picked by the Snezovich. Yes, I know your name. It's written on your file, and I am sure you already know who I am. Otherwise, I would have you discharged and sent away on the next available wagon, along with the superior that dared to even consider you qualified for the job. So, let us skip the formalities. Good. As you know, I need a new assistant. I presume that you have done your due diligence in considering what this position might entail, but there will be time for explaining the specifics later. Let us say that my last assistant quit on very short notice. Please do save your pointless questions for one of my segments. Moving on, the Colonel has already sent your file and letter of recommendation, and on paper you certainly seem fit for the job. Excellent training scores across all boards. No disciplinary protocols have ever been enacted. Not a single failed mission. And all of this in just under 6 months. My, is it rare to see such a promising soldier who has only just left training. Spare me your gratitude. I am merely reading what your superiors have written about you. Despite serving for such a short time, your superiors and comrades have only been singing your praises during questioning. They did not have a single bad thing to say about you. Naturally, they have been brought in for questioning. Your current and previous squad, along with your superiors and whomever oversaw your training. Becoming the personal assistant of a harbinger is no simple task. You could be trying to infiltrate. At the end of this process, your immediate family and any close connections will also be investigated. Consider it standard procedure. This should not be a problem, unless you have something to hide. You certainly do not seem to be concerned. Still, we have gotten off track. My point is that out of all the other morons I have spoken to, you seem to be the obvious fit for the role. Which makes me all the more curious. Why would Snezovich be so eager to have you leave the regiment in favor of working here, when you have proved yourself to be more efficient than many of the recruits combined? You seem confused. Let me explain. The recruitment process for these, let us call them, non-standard roles is horribly inefficient. Commanders are normally not pleased at the prospect of having their best agents be moved to work directly under a harbinger, because, as you should know, the performance of any leader within the Fatui is determined by the performance of the regiment they are overseeing. Snezovich is especially guilty of hoarding his best agents, going as far as to lie about their prowess. But with you he seems almost eager. Despite this, there does not appear to be a single thing wrong with you. So, why? No comment? I can promise you that if you have something to hide, I will figure it out. Very well then. For now, we have other things to discuss. Things such as what this role entails. Yes, I am aware that you have been given a very vague job description, if any. This is yet another security measure. It should come as no surprise to you that my work is highly confidential, and as such, the work of my assistant is of similar nature. Unfortunately, I cannot disclose much from this point onwards unless we reach an agreement. Ah, that look in your eyes. Caution, yet helpless curiosity. You see, while I could simply make you sign a non-disclosure agreement, those tend to be awfully feeble. The Fatui always manages to track down traitors, moles, defectors. But naturally, I'd like to avoid the hassle. So, I created an alternate solution. Well, what do you think it is? Naturally, you cannot tell what liquid it is by just looking at it. I am merely curious as to what you believe it to be. Disappointing that you refuse to wager a guess about the contents of the vial. However, you are correct. To continue this, you must drink it. For me, it is merely procedure rather than a test, although I would greatly appreciate it if you made your decision quickly. If you do not drink it, you are excused and will be escorted back to your quarters momentarily. Oh? How interesting. No other candidate has been daring enough to ingest what I presented to them on a whim. Well, rather than foolish stupidity, I would hope that your decision was made on grounds of having enough situational awareness to understand that I would have no reason to poison you. Although, I will say that I can appreciate this tenacity you seem to possess, unlike the last one. Saving your pointless questions about my previous assistant was an order, soldier. That's what I like to hear. We can continue now. As my assistant, you will be expected to be by my side whenever I require you to do so. You will assist me in my work, and this includes my experiments. You will oversee the work of my subordinates in my stead and react accordingly when unexpected situations occur according to my orders. Understood? On occasion, you will be required to report to other harbingers, mainly Pantalone, but you must keep in mind that you will be my assistant. Therefore, you listen to me. Good. Yes, it is bothersome that you have no prior experience working in the scientific field. However, you will be assisting me, and I will guide you when needed. You are under no circumstance to enter the laboratory, much less conduct experiments on your own. Is that understood? Good. Furthermore, there is an area of back rooms behind the laboratory. Consider this your only warning. Any entry to that space is completely prohibited, and I would suggest that you keep your questions to a minimum. There's a common saying of curiosity killed the cat. Ever heard of that, soldier? Well, I can assure you there is no satisfaction to be found in those rooms. Some choose to learn this the hard way, and that's how I end up here, wasting my precious time on interviewing soldiers. Do you understand? Wonderful. Obedience is a quality I appreciate in my subordinates. As for everything else, you can learn along the way. Yes, that is all. If you are so desperate to spend more time in my presence, I can answer a few questions in a minute. All you need to do now is sign the contract, and your transfer will be immediate. You may take some time to read it, or not. Once again, rather quick decision-making. Let us hope you do not regret it. It's a pleasure, assistant. Your belongings will be moved by the end of the day. Naturally, you will be staying nearby. Of course, I will grant you time to rest, but I can call on you nearly all hours of the day. I am sure that we will be spending a lot of time together. Judging by our conversation, your company will certainly be more enjoyable than that of your predecessors. Yes, you may take that as a compliment. I will not flay you for accepting the truth. You are worthy of being my assistant, after all, so allow yourself some credit. Now, any burning questions? The vial? Oh, no, that was just water with a bit of cheesing powder. Harmless, really, save for the bitter taste. You were correct. It was a test. Your reaction to a situation like that could indicate many things. Loyalty, determination, bravery, but also the opposite. As I said before, if you had refused, I would have dismissed you back to your duties. And if you'd taken it but then refused the job, let's just say an accident would have occurred, resulting in a bit of memory loss. I assure you the tonic was harmless, but many things in this room are not. Situational awareness, my dear assistant. Now, shall we? I do have so many things to show you.